Guys, welcome back into the 2315 Sports Show. We're here on another episode. We are doing football heavy. We're on episode 34. Um, Made it a long way. It's been fun. Um, this will be your time of season, football season, and probably everyone's more time of season. Um, Today, college football's back. It technically was back last weekend. We touched on it, and I do want to make a correction. It was not Notre Dame. And I watched like, college game day. I'm like, this doesn't say Notre Dame. This says Georgia Tech. And I'm like, man, did really, really fuck up on the episode last week because I was talking Notre Dame the whole time.
Yes.
So either way, technically, because I picked Notre Dame, technically I had the right pick of Florida State losing. So I'm going to take it as a win, even though it was Georgia Tech. But so football really kicks off this weekend, Labor Day weekend. Huge weekend. And it's kind of the end of summer and the beginning of football, and kind of the way I wrote it in the description. So with that, new college football season, new college playoff setup this year. So you want to walk them through what all that entails?
Yeah. So 12-team playoffs for college football this year, which I think is a huge expansion. I think it's good for college football. They always have trouble getting the best four teams in. So this gives kind of more teams, but also underdogs the chance to get in there, and the smaller conferences to get in there and show them what they can do. Um, so the four highest ranking conference champions will be 1 through 4 and all get a bye week in the playoffs. Then the fifth conference champion will be seated where it was ranked. So if they're the ninth best team in the country in the AP polls, then they'll be the ninth seed. Um,
Okay.
but if they're ranked outside the top 12, they'll be number 12. And then just based on non-conference champions or other teams, um, will be ranked 5 through 12 accordingly to their rank. So if you've got number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever, then they'll be ranked 5 through whatever. Um, so 1 through 4 gets a bye, then 5 through 12 will play each other. And the quarterfinals will be like the old bowl games, the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, stuff like that. So we still keep the historic bowl games, which is pretty nice to see. So I think it'll be good expansion. Get to see more teams, so it'll be exciting for sure.
Okay. That makes sense. So is the year later? Is the championship later? Is it the same time frame as what we've been used to? Like, are we going to have a big New Year's
I
Eve
think it's pretty
or
close.
New Year's, I should say, weekend?
On Let's see if it has anything on there. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Um, let's see if it shows right here.
Which
So
I'd
yeah,
like.
so first round is Friday, December 20th, and Saturday, December 21st. Quarterfinals, the 31st and the 1st. And then the semis are January 9th and 10th. And then the championships, January 20th.
Oh, so it is
So it
later.
pushes a little bit later. I think another week or something. So,
Yeah, at
but
least. But
it'll be nice. And it's in Atlanta this year.
oh, okay, cool. Sounds like a good thing they did. I kind of wonder their method of jumping from 4 to 12 right away. Like you kind of skip 8.
Yeah.
It seemed like last year they should have put 8 in and then gone 12 this year, but whatever. I don't know, and we'll get into it. It kind of leads into my next topic of this little section. Um, we had a lot of teams switch conferences this year. They, Texas, Oklahoma went to the SEC. We have Oregon, USC, and UCLA. There might be one more that entered the Big 12 or Big 10. I think there's 18 teams in the Big Ten now as a total, so there's quite a few. But regardless, I don't know is that 12 team playoff necessarily gives smaller conferences a chance now. I feel it's going to be a lot of Big Ten and a lot of SEC teams because, how do you leave them out? Their schedules are going to be ridiculously hard. And if they have a decent record of, 10-2 or whatever they play, I don't know how you leave them out. So that top 12, it could be very deceiving. But again, it does give them a chance. Like you said, at least they have a bigger chance than 4. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I know last year
get
it didn't end that way, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. If you get a team like Boise State that goes, 12-0, 11-1, and they're like 15th or something, but win their conference championship, then they'll be put in. So that'll be, most smaller schools, if they lose 2 games, they're not getting in. So 1 game, no games, at least they'll get a shot to get in. So it'd be good to see, if it happens.
Oh yeah, yeah. Are you a big fan of the big conferences now? Like, you're an SEC guy. Do you like Texas and Oklahoma being in there, or would you rather have kept it the way it was?
I like it. Just more competition. As a Kentucky fan, it makes our road harder. I don't think we're not at the point. I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where we're at, contending for championships. But we've had good teams lately, so if we can continue that, I think we have a shot. Even to compete with Texas and Oklahoma and stuff like that. They're good. They're good teams. But I think it was inevitable. Those like the Pac-12 teams were leaving. That thing got down to 10, maybe 9 or 8, but it was going to happen eventually. I think there'll probably be another conference that falls. Some of the smaller ones will start compacting into bigger conferences as well. So I think eventually it'll go to more like 3 or 4, probably 4 big, maybe 2 big conferences. So I think the ACC could fold. The Big 10 or the Big 12, it may completely fold real soon. So I think a couple more years and there'll be no teams left in the Big 12 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Or the Big 10, whichever one Texas and Oklahoma came from.
Big 12. So we are in Big 10 country. Wisconsin's a Big 10 school. And a lot of people here are not a fan of it. Mainly, it's not. Well, one, I think it's mainly is because the Wisconsin on their side have an easy run to the championship game every year. And now they don't, in my opinion. Because, Wisconsin side is like Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Northwestern, and then some others, but very few high-profile football schools. The other side's a lot harder. It's got Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Penn State. That's a juggernaut of a team. So they don't like it. The main thing I think is the big concern is the travel. So for SEC, Texas and Oklahoma, that's not that far away. You're already going to Texas for Texas A&M. So that's not a big change. Now all of a sudden you have the Wisconsin Badgers playing Oregon out west. And during that's 1,000 miles, probably more. But also, say on the other side, I think Maryland is still in the Big Ten. I think they're in there, or Rutgers, one of those random schools. So you're going coast to coast.
Yeah.
USC to Rutgers. That's a 2,000+ mile trip with football equipment, bus, gear, band, cheer. Like, I mean, that's a lot of travel. Um, so the logistics are kind of
Yeah.
tough unless it's coming off a bye week. I could see it, or before a bye week maybe. Um, so I think that's a big thing here. But I don't know. My team's in the ACC, and I agree with you. I think they're going to fold. They might live a little longer and absorb like the Big 12 teams just to make a little bigger of a conference. But in the end, they're going to have to pick either Big 10 or SEC, whatever they want to call it at that point. Um, and you talk about a competition, that's going to be insane, especially for basketball season. That's going to be incredible. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a fan of it or not. But like you said, it's inevitable. We're going to deal with it. So it's here to stay.
Yeah.
Um, last quick thing of the college football, real early favorite. Who you got winning the title this year? Real early.
I got two. I got two teams. Obviously, one's Georgia.
Yep.
They're returning a lot of players, but this year they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Beck's probably the best quarterback in the country. Um, I do like Georgia, but a team that hasn't been there in a little while, but is really good, is Oregon. Dan Lanning's got them ready to go. Dylan Gabriel, he's probably the second best quarterback in the country. They're fast. They have
Mm-hmm.
a really good defense this year, which I think can hold up versus all of the Big Ten. Um, so I like Oregon as well. But if I had to pick one, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pick the Ducks.
The Ducks. Okay. So I think the early favorite is Georgia, just because of the reasons you said. They're hungry. They kind of got, I don't know, as I'd say, cheated out of the four last year, but probably would have been a little better competition wise. Um, but I got two teams as well. I got two newbies to the conferences, winning the conferences and going to the title game. I like the Ducks. I have them as one. I think they're going to come into the Big Ten and shock them, actually, because their speed is undeniable. And Big Ten isn't used to that.
Yeah,
I mean, Michigan and Ohio State are
no,
because they're built that way, but the rest of the Big Ten's not ready for that. On the other hand, what worries me about the Ducks is they're not used to the physical play of the Big Ten either. Um, Oregon's used to the weather, I'd say. I mean, it's pretty crappy weather out there, I think, during the fall and winter. But I mean, I'd hate to see UCLA and USC come to Wisconsin in the middle of December when it's 2 degrees and snowing,
yeah,
and Camp Randall rocking because it's snowing. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I'm not a Wisconsin fan, but that place gets going when the weather gets cold, kind of like Lambeau Field. Um, but I got Oregon making it, and I have Texas making it. Texas makes a big statement and wins the SEC this year. Like, I like Texas. I like Quinn Ewers. If you don't add up, you got Manning right there behind him. I know a lot of their running backs got hurt recently. I think maybe all of them. And I think they said they're on their depth chart. I think they're running backs at tight end at this point. But it's like, okay, imagine Travis Kelce at running back. Like, it's like Derrick Henry tackling Derrick Henry. So
yeah,
I mean, it could
yeah,
work, but I don't know. I like both of them, and I think Texas is going to win. Talking about a team that they've been there. They got their toes wet a little bit, and I think they're going to win this year. Um, the coach, I mean, he is what he is. I don't mind him, but I think they're going to do it. Quinn Ewers is back, and I got faith in him. So that's it. That's college
yeah.
football in a very quick,
Nice, nice.
very quick rundown. We'll dive deeper into
Do
it
you have
as the
do you
season
have
goes
a
on.
yeah? Do you have a early favorite for Heisman?
Um, no, but I'm not real sure who's still in. Um, I mean, I'd go Quinn Ewers, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's really
Okay.
the only one I really
That's what
know.
I was. I think a team that's going to be good in the SEC this year is LSU as well. And Garrett Nussmeier, I think
Mhm.
he's going to lead the way. And I think he's a top 5 quarterback. I mean, heck, if they have a good year, Shadur Sanders could win it, Heisman or Travis Hunter.
Mhm.
I think it'll end up being them two: Garrett Nussmeier, Dylan Gabriel, and Carson Beck. I mean, Quinn Ewers in there too, but I like Nussmeier to win Heisman. I think he's going to throw for 4,500 yards and
Ooh.
50 touchdowns.
Back to back for LSU
So,
then. That's big. New
yeah,
powerhouse of the SEC? Maybe.
nah.
Maybe. I don't think the last thing on that, I don't think Carson Beck will, just because he doesn't have to do as much. I mean,
Okay,
he's not going to have to
fair.
do as much as the others, so his stats aren't going to be there. He's going to be like, what was the quarterback when they won?
Um, oh,
He had a real country name too, like
Jake
country
Fromm.
western. No, the recent one, right before Beck. Uh, I can't remember, and that's horrible.
I went blank.
He got drafted or went to the Rams, I think,
Yeah,
and then he
I
got cut.
can. I can think of. I can see his face.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his name was a
Stetson
clone.
Bennett.
That's it. Yeah, Stetson Bennett. So
I had
it's
to
kind of
look it
like
up.
him. Like he lost like one game his whole college career or whatever, but never had to put up the stats
But
because they
never
were so
sniffed the
damn good.
Heisman.
Right, but they were so
Yeah,
damn good. Like
yeah,
so, that's why I don't think Carson Beck could do it, just because he don't have to. So that's college.
fair.
We'll be getting into it probably a little deeper, more involved as the season goes on for sure. Um, so on to our next kind of last segment of the show, but also the last segment of this countdown to the NFL season by the divisions. We have the last one, NFC East and AFC East. Oh, that says North. That shouldn't say North. Sorry for the bottom of the screen there. But
Knucklehead.
just trying to throw people off, So update that quick, and there we go. I was just caught up on my favorite division. That's all. I'm selfish.
And the Bears
So
going 12-5.
that's right. Damn it. Hey, you're gonna shit when they do it too. Um,
I will.
I
If
will
they go
too.
12-5, I'll paint my fingernails like Caleb Williams.
Good deal. You heard it here on the show. So NFC East, AFC East. We're gonna switch up the rotation because your team's in the AFC East, so we'll do them last. We'll go NFC East first.
Okay.
This one, the first two for me were hard. And I went with my gut though and schedule. Schedule played a huge role in this actually for me. Number one, I got the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not going against Dak in the regular season. Also, what sold it for me was just this week, CD Lamb signed his extension. So,
yeah,
that to me was icing on the cake. Put him at the top. Key additions: CD Lamb re-signed. That means he's going to play. I mean, I think he was going to play anyway, but whatever. They re-signed their offensive tackle in Chuma Edoga, just like that name, and then they brought back Zeke, which I think is a very underrated move for this year because I think they missed him dearly last year, and the Patriots thrived with him. So, I mean,
yeah,
he thrived there. So, key departures, I guess Tony Pollard, but I think Ezekiel Elliott and this team is going to be nuts. Dante Fowler Jr. left, which is a big hit for their defense. They have probably one of, if not the best defensive player in the league in Micah Parsons on there, so that's not really going to matter. They also lost their center, Tyler Biotish is his name, and that that kind of hurts Dak, I think. But this record might shock you because I think it's the best so far. I have them going 15-2 this year.
Okay.
The Dallas Cowboys, best in the league, 15-2. So that's
Mm,
me.
man, that's
Yeah.
wild. 15-2. All right. Well, I'll get to the Cowboys later on.
Yeah, I figured so.
But for me, my first is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hmm.
I have them first, the 3 seed in the playoffs. They're my only playoff team in the NFC East.
Ooh.
Um, I think they had a little bit of a down year last year, but I think Jalen Hurts is going to bounce back. I think he had 15 turnover worthy throws last year and 15 interceptions. So every pass that he had turnover worthy was intercepted. That's not going to happen again. But two, he wasn't efficient running the ball. Their team wasn't efficient running the ball. And they added Saquon Barkley. They still have Dallas Goddard, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They did lose Jason Kelsey, which is a huge miss for them. But their offensive line is still top 5 in the league. From a defensive perspective, they added C.J. Gardner Johnson, who 2 years ago their Super Bowl run was key for them. He left and
Hmm.
went to Detroit, and now he's back. Um, I think the Eagles are really, really good, and they're going to rely on Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley to run the ball a lot. And you're going to see prime performance Saquon Barkley, one you haven't seen in a few years. Uh,
Okay.
1,400 yards, 20 touchdowns. So Eagles are my pick at 12-4
12-4.
or 13-4. Sorry,
There you go.
13-4.
Okay. I mean, I like it. That's my second team. That was the two. Um, Key additions, like you said, Saquon Barkley. They re-signed AJ Brown. They re-signed Devontae Smith, and then they added Devin White at linebacker, who's real good.
Mm-hmm.
Key departures gets washed out with Saquon. I mean, they lost DeAndre Swift. Thank you, Philly. Um, Jason Kelsey, like you said, that's a big loss. Yes, on the field, but a lot in the locker room. I feel more so than anything.
Yeah,
Um, they also lost, from what I saw, they lost Fletcher Cox too. He retired.
yeah,
So I mean, that's two Hall of Famers in your locker room that you lost. So, are two guys going to step up? Probably. Jalen Hurts has got to be one of them to lead the team. And Saquon, AJ, one of them is going to have to too. So I have Philly second. I got them going 13-4. I got two teams here that are really good going into they're going.
yeah.
Um, and the only thing, Jalen Hurts to me is a question mark. Um, he's good if he can run or if he has a run game, which Saquon is a huge, huge addition to that. Um, I just don't. Their coach is the one that I don't know.
He's a
That
wild card.
yes, and I don't, and it's not a good wild card. Like he's questionable. So,
Yeah,
and there's going to be a lot of pressure on him this year because of the team they got. So, again, 13-4,
yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles second for me. So I'm guessing you got the Cowboys second.
I do. I have a Cowboys second, missing the playoffs, but I have them at 9-8. Um, not that I don't think that they're a good team because they are, but I just think even with their schedule, a lot of teams that they play are better than them. Um, you know, with CD coming back, I figured all along he'd get
Yeah.
his money somewhere. and Jerry's going to pay him.
Hmm.
They brought Zeke back. He's not an every down back though anymore. Uh, they're going to have to rely heavily on Rico Dowdle, their second year guy.
Hmm.
Deuce Vaughn. They just signed Dalvin Cook today, but
Hmm.
Dalvin Cook's he's not going to play. I don't think he's. I think he's more washed than he is,
Yeah.
his old self. Um, but I mean, their receiving core, like they have Brandon Cooks, but he's often injured. He's small. He's lost a step with his speed. You do have CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson at tight end. But like you said, they lost their center and Tyron Smith, their left tackle. So their line is hurt. They lost Stephon Gilmore in the secondary. Out. He was opposite of Diggs.
Hmm.
Diggs is coming off a big injury. I think Micah Parsons is not. I mean, he's great, but he's not Aaron Donald. He's not that guy. He gets in his head more than anything. And um, I saw a stat the other day, like during his 2 years in the playoffs, he has 3 total quarterback pressures.
Mm.
Teams are starting to figure him out a little bit. So, and no sacks. Um, so he's got a few moves, but other than that, I don't think he's going to be a big impact this year. Um, and the biggest thing for them is Dak Prescott. He
Hmm.
wants to get paid. He's not going to get paid. So he's going into the year with no contract extension. He's going to be worried about, oh, am I going to get hurt? Um, so am I going to go the extra mile, and risk getting injured and not getting paid? Uh, I think most players are more worried about their money than they are
Sure.
wins.
Sure.
Um, so I don't think he's going to have a great year. I think he's going to decline a little bit. Um, so I don't have a ton of faith in the Cowboys. So 9-8, second place.
Mm. I'll take very different takes on them. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, my third, and this team I think they got really good this year. Um, depends on the quarterback play. But I got Washington in there. Washington Commanders at third. Key addition
Yeah.
is Jaden Daniels, their quarterback. Austin Eckler, running back, vet, touchdown machine in the red zone. They got Tyler Biotish, the center from Dallas. They
Mhm.
also got Bobby Wagner on the defense. They signed a lot of people on defense. Um,
Yeah.
they lost Sam Howell, which whatever for Jaden Daniels. I think that's a fair trade. Antonio Gibson
Yeah.
they lost, running back. He went to the Patriots, and Kendall Fuller at their corner they lost. But looking at their makeup, I kind of like this team in the future, not this year. Um, I got them going 9-8 this year. I got them winning record. Jaden Daniels having a decent year, good year, staying healthy, and I kind of like them. They're going to be good in a couple years. So 9-8 Washington.
Yeah. So I have Washington also third for me. I like Jaden Daniels a lot. I think he's probably. I think he's the most pro ready quarterback, rookie quarterback, even over Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is going to be good. I think he's going to be great actually, but Jaden Daniels gets the ball out of his hands faster than any other. He's not one to run around and try to make a play. Um, when Sunday when they were playing the Patriots, they're like he's getting the ball out of his hands in under 2 seconds. He's hitting that
Yeah.
back foot and letting it fly, which is what you have to do, especially when you have an offensive line like they have, one that's
Mhm.
not great. You have to make your offensive line look good sometimes, or give them breathers, not rely on them to hold up for 3, 4, 5 seconds every single snap. So he does that well. Austin Eckler is huge for him. Um, that veteran presence in the backfield will help a lot. Scary Terry. I look for Scary Terry to have a top 5 wide receiver stat line at the end of the year. He's going to get the ball a lot because, especially, they just traded Jahan Dotson, who was their number 3. He just went to Philly, so yeah. So I do like the Commanders. I think they're a couple years early, but
Mm-hmm.
I have them at 7-10. But I would not be surprised to see that flipped and then go 10-7.
Okay.
So I've got them 7-10, third place, missing the playoffs.
Like it. It's a good record. I mean, that's all you can ask for.
Yep.
And they're just in better shape than they were last year, in my opinion. So looking forward. So which means, which we all figured this, number 4 last in the division is the New York Giants, the G-Men. God, there's just not a lot here. I was reaching for additions and departures here. Well, not departures. There's one huge one, but key additions for me: Devin Singletary, running back; Allen Robinson, the wide receiver. He used to be with the Bears a little bit. They did get Brian Burns on the edge, which that defense got a smidge better. Not much, but a smidge with him. My other key addition, which might shock people, but I think he's going to end up starting at the end of the year, and that's Drew Lock at quarterback. Hot take right here that they're going to bench Daniel Jones. He's not going to get hurt. They're going to bench him because he's horrible. So they're going to bench what is he making? 30 million? 40 million?
Too much.
So they're going to bench him. Key departures: Sterling Shepard, Xavier McKinney, safety on defense, and then obviously the running back Saquon Barkley. That's a huge miss by them, but good for Saquon because they were going nowhere and nowhere fast. So I have them finishing, again, I gave them a couple, so 4-13 this year, and that's getting lucky, but that's with Drew Lock. Drew Lock's going to win those games. Daniel Jones is not. So that's who I got.
Well, I like Drew Lock, but he's not any good either. He's better than Daniel Jones, but he's not very good either. He's on his third team now, I think. Broncos, Seattle, and now the Giants. But I did see today they actually cut Allen Robinson.
Oh, did they? Well,
to make the 53, and he signed with the Lions, so on their practice squad. Yeah, crazy. But no, the Giants are bad. I'm not going to go into detail because they're a bad team. 2-15.
Ooh, nice one. Well,
very bad.
They're a bad team. Not a great coach. I like him, but he's not a great coach. And
he's a great coordinator.
Yeah. They're just a bad ran. One, probably the worst in the NFL. And that's saying something because Carolina's there too. They're just badly ran. So that's it. I mean, we have our first and second team switch, but the bottom is the same for us. You got Philly winning. I got Dallas. So we'll see. We'll see there. And now on to the final conference. And your favorite, your boys, the AFC East. I'm gonna let you kick things off here. Who you got going number one? Who's winning this division? Because I got a hot take on this. So I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah. So it was tough, really. I was like going back and forth with a couple teams, and but I can't go against Josh Allen. Even though he's lost a ton of players, their defense lost a few. They don't have a whole lot of, they lost Diggs. They still have Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Knox, or I don't think it's Dalton Knox, but Dalton Kincaid the Knox guy, James Cook, Keon Coleman, the Shakir receiver. Um, I think they're still good, and they have Josh Allen. I think he's the best dual threat quarterback in the NFL because he has, the arm of Patrick Mahomes, and he's not quite the wheels of Lamar, but
Yeah.
he can
He can
move
go.
and he can run. If he can limit the turnovers, I think they'll be just fine. But I like the Bills. I have them going 12-5, finishing first and third in the playoffs.
Okay. I'll get to Corey's gonna love you, by the way. I don't know if he gave you some money to say that or not, but I am not going the Buffalo
No,
Bills
no
first.
money.
Well, he should, because that was a well-deserved plug for sure. I'll get into Buffalo later.
Okay.
I have the Miami Dolphins finishing the division first this year.
Nice.
Their key additions, they re-signed Jalen Waddle, they signed Shaq Barrett, and they got Odell Beckham Jr. Good veteran presence. I think he's gonna help a lot more than people think. A lot of people said, "Oh, this is he's a waste. He's not gonna be this." He's gonna be a security blanket, and he's gonna rack up some stats if he stays healthy all year. So I like him a lot. Key departures. They lost 2 corners and a safety, which that's a lot. Eli Apple, Xavier Howard, and Brandon Jones. So, but I do have them finishing 12-5, and first in the division, the Miami Dolphins, which I'm gonna flip it and go again because this is my hot take. So second, I have the New York Jets. Rodgers is coming off a big injury. I understand that, but me being a Bears fan, it's kind of like I'm never going against Rodgers. So they added Mike Williams from San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers, Hassan Reddick, the edge. So their defense got a little more stout again. They also added Tyrod Taylor, which I think he's a very underrated backup in case Rodgers goes down.
Yes.
So that's huge. Key departures, they lost Bryce Hall, corner, Jordan Whitehead, safety, and Mekhi Becton, a tackle. But they did get a big lineman in the draft, the one that actually Caleb Williams vouched for. So I don't know. So I also have them finishing 12-5. So there's drama in this. This is the tiebreaker, and Dolphins are going to win it. From one of the head-to-head games, they're going to score more. That's what it's going to come down to, because I looked at like tiebreaker rules, and that's something that goes into it. So Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, both 12-5, with the Dolphins squeaking out the tiebreaker.
Nice. Okay.
Drama.
I like that. So I have the Dolphins as my 2 seed. I do like them a lot. I like Devon Achane. I think he's going to have a good year running the ball. And then you have Cheetah, and then you have Jalen Waddle, and then you did add Odell. With him not having to be like when he was at Cleveland, he was the number 1 guy, and then he goes to the Rams, and he was the number 2 guy. And then went to Baltimore, and they kind of expected him to be the number 1 guy again, and then got kind of pushed to 2 with Zay Flowers there. But now he's the third option. Like, he doesn't have to have 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. He can come in there and play sparingly, had 600-700 yards, 5 or 6 touchdowns, and then come playoff time when he's healthy. Like, you can come out there with 3 receivers, 4 receivers, Achane, to and move the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think it heavily relies on Tua, and I don't think Tua is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So I think that hurts them a little bit. That's why I had to put them second, but I have them
Okay.
finishing 11-6.
Ooh.
Um, but I do. I got them 11-6, and then following them, I've got the Jets.
Okay. So they're third.
Yeah, I love Brees Hall. I think he's second best running back in the NFL right now, and I like Garrett Wilson. But outside of those guys on the offense, I don't like a lot of their team. I, Mike Williams, he's a big target, but he can't stay healthy. He
Mm-hmm.
struggles with drops sometimes. Uh, Malachi Corley, rookie from Western, um, he'll play some. He may like just blow it out of the water and become the number two guy. Um, Garrett Wilson's going to get a ton of targets, but at that you're going to get the number one matchup every time. I like their offensive line. They did add Tyron Smith from Dallas as well, so they have a really good offensive line. But once again, I don't love Aaron Rodgers. Um, I don't. He's coming off a major injury
Mm-hmm.
at what 39, 40 years old. The dude's
40,
the
over
dude's going to
40.
struggle. Yeah, he's not going to be able to move around like he used to,
Mm-hmm.
even with his little ashwagandha hippie stuff that he uses.
Sure.
He's not
Sure.
going to be able to move around like he used to. His arm is taking a step back too, I believe. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's going to hinder the team more than he's going to help the team because they have a good defense. Um, and Robert Sala, I don't love him as a head coach. Great coordinator, but he struggled as a head coach. So
Yep.
I think this is Rodgers' last year. I think he's going to retire. I think Salah's going to get fired. They're going to blow up the Jets team, and they're going to finish tied for last 8-9.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Um, that's rough. That's rough for him. But I could see it. I definitely could see Rogers, hindering more than helping for sure. I know him from Green Bay, and he's like Patrick Mahomes. You don't bet on him until he definitely proves you're wrong. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Um, but so third, I have the Buffalo Bills. That's my third place team, and it's only because they lost their whole offense. Like when you look at it, they lost both leading receivers. I mean, and they got some, but not. And they're not Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. Those are two big ones. They lost Leonard Floyd. He didn't really do a lot, but defense. And they lost Jordan Poyer, I believe, safety. So
Yeah.
a lot of departures, a lot. Key additions. I like Curtis Samuel that they got, wide receiver. Not bad. Not Stephon Diggs. Could be relatable to Gabe Davis, though. I'll give them that. Um, they got to tackle Deion Dawkins, who, I mean, you got to protect Josh Allen. He he's got to either have time to see something downfield or run. So you got to protect them. I do like the running back James Cook. Um, I also like the addition, and a lot of people won't, but Mitchell Trubisky as a backup, just in case. Not having to be the guy. Mitchell Trubisky might surprise people if he has to come in on a team that has a good defense, doesn't have to throw to be spectacular, has a run game, which the one year at the
He's
Bears,
serviceable.
yes, the one year at the Bears where they went off, he was good. And he could be that again, especially with that coach. So I like the Buffalo Bills at third, 9-8. They will go above 500. They're going to miss the playoffs, obviously, but they're going 9-8.
Okay.
So which means both of us have. I'll let you go last since it's your team.
Yeah. Okay.
Both of us have your boys at New England Patriots going last. Probably expected at this rate. I mean, you were on top for so long. I think we have them at the same record though, since you said tied with the last ones. Key additions: Antonio Gibson, running back; Hunter Henry, tight end. I like that move. Or I think they re-signed him, maybe. Or he was there.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know how you feel, but I saw him play this Sunday, and I think Drake May's the guy. I really do. He looked good. I know it's preseason; everyone freaks out about that, but he has things that are not coachable, and he's good. I like him. He didn't give up going for a first down in the preseason. Can't coach that. I like that. Shows heart. I think he should be the starter. Especially, I don't know what happened, but I was watching the game and I was messaging you, and I said Brissett just went down, holding his shoulder. So I
Yeah.
don't know if that came anything or not. But key departures, they lost their lineman, that Trent Brown, which was a big loss, especially with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Tight end Mike Gesicki they lost, which he was consistent. He was a consistent guy. And I think a big loss is Ezekiel Elliott. Just in the red zone more so than anything. But I like Drake May. He's going to be starting by the end of the year. I think he should start right away, but you don't want to hurt him, hinder him any. I get it. I just don't know if Jacoby Brissett is enough to sit him for, enough of a veteran to sit him for, in my eyes. So I like them. They're heading in the right direction. I like their coach. I do have them at 8-9, fourth in the division, but their time is coming again. You can see it. So I like Drake May.
All right. Well, I like it. I like it a lot. I've got the Patriots finishing 8-9 as well. I could ramble for half an hour on these guys, but I won't. Starting with the defense, I think we have a top 10 defense in the NFL, even without Judon. Our safeties, Jabril Peppers, he's real versatile. Kyle Duggar, he's a heavy hitter. He can drop down in the box and help with the run as well. So I like our safeties. And Christian Gonzalez, our number one pick last year, he got hurt midway through the year, but he was on track for Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. He'll be our number one. He's healthy. Jonathan Jones has been a staple in our secondary for a long time. And then Marcus Jones, and he's a speedster. He'll be in the slot and then returning kicks and punts and stuff. So I like our defense. Our pass rush lacks a little bit. But I still think we're a top 10 defense. We're solid. The biggest hurt on our defense, I think, is Christian Barmore for tackle. He had like blood clots in his lung or something. Oh. So they're not sure he's going to play this year. But if he does, that's big. The offensive line is the biggest, weakest link. Mm-hmm. We do have some good players, though. We drafted some rookies, but still have David Andrews at center, who's good, and Mike Onwenu. He plays all over the line. But we'll see how the line holds up. With the loss of Gesicki, we signed Austin Hooper, though. He's a good backup tight end. The receiving core is young, really young. We got Pop Douglas, Kayshawn Boutte from last year. Mm-hmm. Both of those guys, Javon Baker from this year, and Jalen Polk. If Kendrick Bourne can come back, he's on PUP, so he'll be out the first at least 4 weeks. But if he can come back and help be that number 1 or 2 guy and help Polk out and Baker, I think we'll be just fine. And we got Ramondre Stevenson running the ball. Mm-hmm. I think he's borderline top 10 running back. I think he could be higher than that. I think he could finish top 5 because we're going to run the ball a lot. But as far as quarterback goes, I do believe Drake May is the guy. the throws he made Sunday and just watching him play. But I don't think he should start right now because not because he's not ready, but our team's not ready for that yet. Um, why hurt? Why hurt his development playing with a not so great team?
Yeah.
We could easily go 5-12. So we could be really bad. But just give him time to learn how to be a professional, learn the playbook, um, and just really learn the game and be a student of the game. And Jacoby Brissett is a good pro. He's been around New England before. It's where he got drafted. He's a journeyman, so I like him. I don't think he's going to win us a lot of games, but I would at least start him for the first 8 to 10 weeks. Maybe the second half of the season, put Drake May in, unless for some reason we're getting some heaters in there and just keep him in. But I think at least by the end of the year next year, Drake May will be starting full time. But for now, 8 and 9's where I got him, tied for last in the division, missing the playoffs, unfortunately.
That's got to be painful to hear and do, but hey,
I'm sure you could hear the heartbreak in my voice as I'm talking
yes.
about him.
Oh
It's
yeah,
sad.
yeah. But they're on the come up again. I mean, they'll be back, and
Yeah.
I don't think it'll take long either. Because I think in that division, they're the team with the most upside to them. So, um,
Yeah.
I do like them, but it's gonna be a couple years for sure. But you know, we've waited since '85, and we lost to Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. That's the last excitement I've ever had. So it's not fun,
Yeah.
but you guys got the coach, you got
Yeah.
a GM in there that doesn't make bonehead decisions. Um, so I
Thank
like it.
God.
I don't mind it. So
Yeah.
with that all being said, all the divisions went through everything. The last thing of our countdown, I guess, Super Bowl winner, go this year.
Okay. Real quick.
Okay.
First, my team, things could change in a couple ways this year.
Okay.
One, if we get a number one wide receiver like Jamar Chase, if he doesn't get paid and wants a trade,
Yep.
and we get Jamar Chase for some reason, that could help change the outcome. Or offensive tackle help, Trent Williams. He wants a new contract. 49ers said they're not paying him. He said, well, I just won't even play. So if for some reason that could, come to fruition, those two guys could change our season drastically, I think. And then you start Drake May.
Yes. 100%.
But probably won't happen. So Super Bowl picks. Uh from the NFC, I'm going to go Detroit. I like Detroit. I like their team. Um, I like the 49ers a lot, but I don't know. My gut just says the Lions. So I'm going to go the Lions in the NFC. And the AFC is going to be the comeback of Joey B.
Oh,
And
Cincinnati.
Burrow's going to lead them from the wild card to the Super Bowl. So Bengals versus Lions, and I'm not picking a winner yet.
Okay. So my early Super Bowl, and that's why I'm going to pick a winner because we'll do this again, I'm sure. I like Detroit. I don't know. You know what? Yeah, I'll go with them. I was going to pick San Fran, but I don't know as I believe in Purdy this year. Kind of like you said when we covered him. I think he's going to try and do too much because
Yeah.
he's going to get paid, and I don't know. I don't know if it all relies on this year. I mean, the kids. I don't know what more he could do but win a Super Bowl. But and also the question mark on Ayuk is a worry to me. If he doesn't get a deal done, is he going to play?
Yeah.
If he does play, how hard is he going to play? And if he does get a deal done, great, but you haven't been here this whole time. So I have faith they're going to be there. I have them losing to the Lions in the championship. I think the Lions will beat them if that can happen. I'm sure it can some way somehow. But my AFC one, it's not going to be Mahomes this year. They're not going to go for a third one. They're not going to win a third one in a row. That's a lot. I have the Houston Texans making the Super Bowl this year. There won't be a sophomore down for CJ Stroud. He's too good for that. And their team got better by a long shot. You added a big time number one, which might not even be a number one in their offense, and Stephon Diggs. You had all the other guys you had last year. You added Joe Mixon, which is a huge running game, and their defense got better. And I like their coach a lot. And they're going to run their division, and they're going to beat the Chiefs to go into the Super Bowl this year. And Houston Texans are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
Over the Lions. That is my hot take. That is my everything. Stroud might win MVP this year. That's how. That kid is good, real good.
Yeah.
And the team got nasty on top of it. So, Houston Texans Super Bowl winner. Yeah. I wish I could say Detroit, but I can't.
Yeah. So that's where I'm stuck with. I love that pick though. Love that pick. I like the Lions a lot. I think they're physical. They're really, really good. And they play for their head coach more than I've seen anybody else. It's hard for me to be like, all right, Joe Burrow's going to go to 2 Super Bowls and be 0-2.
True.
But I don't know. They've lost a little bit, but their offensive line's nasty now.
Mm-hmm.
If Jamar Chase can stay, if he comes back, gets his contract, plays, I'll say the Bengals. Bengals over the Lions.
Ooh, I like it. Good picks. I like them. So that's football. Football is upon us. We got college this weekend. Actually, it's Wednesday. We're shooting this. They might have had some games tonight. For sure tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see if our picks come to fruition. Houston's probably about to hate me, and they're going to go about 5-12 on the year. But I like them. I like it, and that's football. And hit them with the outro whenever you're ready.
All right, sounds good. We just want to thank everybody for tuning in. However, wherever you may be listening, if you like the content, hit the like, subscribe button. YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Pod. See you next week. Peace.